Chairman of the subcommittee, Mr. Braley, for an opening statement. 3 minutes, please, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Hayward, you're not going to get a lecture from me today, and you're not going to get an apology either, because we're here to get to the bottom of the decision-making process that BP followed, and I think, quite frankly, the people who live along the affected area of the Gulf Coast deserve those answers from you. We were in Chalmette, Louisiana last week, and we had the opportunity to hear from a variety of individuals whose lives have been devastated by this oil disaster. And I use the word disaster specifically because I don't think spill quite captures the magnitude of what's going on. The American people are frustrated because we were first told that this was a 1,000-barrel-per-day release. And then about a week later, that was updated to 5,000 barrels per day. And then at the end of May, it was adjusted upward to 15,000 to 19,000 barrels per day. And then this week, we were informed that it could be as high as 60,000 barrels per day. That works out to 2.5 million gallons a day, 17.5 million gallons per week. And over the length of this disaster, it could be up to the level of the largest release of oil in the North American continent in history. Unintended. One of the things I think we need to know about today is the decisions that your company made and who made them that led to this explosion and the subsequent disaster, what your company is doing to fix this enormous problem, and about your future commitments to all of the affected workers, families, and communities who've been devastated by this disaster. And I think it would be helpful for you and everybody in this hearing room to hear from the two women who testified at our hearing in Louisiana last week, because they raised some very pointed questions that were directed to your company, sir, and they were questions that were raised after they gave passionate testimony of wanting the oil and gas business to continue in Louisiana and the Gulf Coast region. So I'd like to have you listen to their comments in the hearing. This is Natalie Rostow.
I would like to leave here today knowing that because of my husband's tragic death, we can begin to focus on making safety the most important priority. Not to focus on making more safety regulations, but on ways to effectively implement the ones that we already have. This tragedy will not be in vain, because as of right now, my husband's death is in vain. But it will not be in vain if it serves to make the lives of every man and woman working in the oil field the top priority, and cause these powerful oil companies to know that they will be held accountable for their actions. While I understand companies must make a profit, I do not believe it should be at the expense of risking lives or destroying families. I am asking you to please consider harsh punishments on companies who choose to ignore safety standards before other families are destroyed. My family can never and will never be adequately compensated for our loss.
These are now widows with small children to take care of, and they are the symbols and the faces of this disaster, and I look forward to your testimony. Yield back the balance of my time.